Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Carl from Planet 40k, and today we're back with another review video from the Indominus box set, the Cryptothralls. So the Cryptothralls are another brand new unit. They cost 2 power or 40 points and you get 2 models in the unit. If your army list is battle forged, then these guys do not take up any slots in your detachment, providing that you're bringing a Cryptek within your army. You can bring them without a Cryptek, but it will take an elite slot, although I'm not sure why you'd bring one without the Cryptek. You'll see later in the vid why. So the stat line is as follows: a movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength and toughness 5, wounds 2, 3 attacks, 10 leadership, and a 3-up save. So they've got the Canoptic keyword, which is interesting as this will interact with stratagems and other Canoptic abilities. Their movement matches most of the Necron infantry in the army, which is a slow 5, so not that quick at all really. So let's skim through their abilities so we can work out what these guys are actually going to be doing. So they've got living metal, quite standard. In case you're not aware, this is where you regain a wound at the start of your turn. This rule may change in the Codex, which is going to be dropped in October. Next ability, which is called Protectors, which is a 3-inch aura ability where any Crypteks within 3 inch cannot be targeted for shooting attacks by your opponent. Basically, it's like the new Lookout Sir rule, but it applies even if you've only got one Cryptothrall within 3 inches. So these dudes are just going to be your Cryptek bodyguards. In theory, you could hide this unit out of sight and keep it within 3 inches of a Cryptek character to make both this unit and the Cryptek untargetable from ranged weapons. So they've also got reanimation protocols. Again, this rule may change, but currently it's where you roll a d6 for any dead models within the unit, and on a 5+ they stand up with 4 wounds. And obviously if you've got the Cryptek, which you should have near them, then it'll be +1 to your roll anyway, as that's what their ability is. So effectively that becomes a 4+ reanimation roll. Although you've only got 2 models in this unit, so you're not likely to be getting much chance to use it, and your opponent is most likely going to be clearing out both models at one time. The last of the abilities, Systematic Vigor, which synergizes with a Cryptek yet again. If you're within 6 inches of a Cryptek, the unit gets to change their ballistic skill and weapon skill from 4+ to 3+, and their attacks go from 3 attacks to 6 attacks each. That's pretty decent, having 12 attacks from just 2 models. So for their ranged weapons, they've got a Scouring Eye, which is a 12-inch 2-shot pistol with strength 5, -2 AP, and single damage. Not too shabby, as these guys are likely to be going around a Cryptek, so they're going to be gaining the better ballistic skill of 3. So a total of 4 shots hitting on 3 should be giving you roughly 2 or 3 hits. Versus toughness 3 and 4, you need 3s to wound, which you'd hope to achieve 2 wounds. Versus toughness 5, you need 4s to wound, so approximately 1 wound, maybe 2 if you're lucky. Toughness 6 to 9, you require 5s, so you'll be unlucky to not get 1 wound. As these are pistols, they can shoot in combat, which is quite handy. But out of combat, the 12-inch isn't that great, but it is a pistol weapon after all. Going into their combat weapons, they're equipped with side limbs. These are strength user, so it's strength 5, -1 AP, and single damage. Again, when they're with the Cryptek, they're getting 6 attacks each, so totaling 12 attacks, hitting on 3s. You should be getting on average 8 hits. So against toughness 3 and 4, you need 3s to wound, so approximately 5 wounds. Against toughness 5, you need 4s to wound, so approximately 4 wounds. And against toughness 6 to 9, you need 5s, so approximately 2 to 3 wounds. They are only -1 AP, so you can't expect too much to go through, but I'd hope a couple of Primaris and Marines get chewed through. This is on top of the pistol shots, which could overall give you approximately 3 Primaris Marine kills within the turn. Now all these figures were considered with a Cryptek close by. If there isn't, then that's massively going to make these guys redundant anyway for many reasons, but losing their weapon skill and ballistic skill and putting their attacks down to 3 each, they'll barely be making a dent, so they need a Cryptek. Looking at the new Dynasties that are coming out in the new Codex, there's not much that synergizes that well that I can see off the bat. The Warhammer Dynasty gives a 5+ feel no pain and gets mortal wounds. That could assist slightly, I guess. And you gain a single reroll to wound, so that's always handy. Maybe a custom Dynasty within the new book could be a better option, but overall I can't see them being too overpowered with these Dynasties that are in the new book coming out. As for stratagems, there's one that stands out, which is called Adaptive Subroutines, which is where if a canoptic unit has advanced, it can shoot and charge for 1 CP. It can be handy for positioning or getting to objectives, or if you're wanting to stay within 3 inches of your Cryptek, or if you're looking to get into range with your pistol within the 12 inches. So not bad. So moving on to the pros and cons of the unit. I quite like the synergy buff with the Crypteks. Don't forget the Plasmancer is also a Cryptek, so Crypteks are a pretty decent HQ option, especially the basic Cryptek, for buffing reanimation protocols to other units nearby, such as warriors, or your more heavy units like destroyers. But if you do have a warrior blob nearby, why can't they just screen the Cryptek rather than the Cryptothralls? I think they'd do a better job. The job's sort of already been done, if that makes sense. They could act a bit more like a defense for your warriors, maybe, as obviously your warriors aren't going to be doing much in combat. But it's probably just easier to fall back and shoot anyone attacking you with the rest of your army. I like the ranged pistols. I know it's only 12 inch, but strength 5 -1 AP that can shoot into combat with 2 shots per model is decent, especially when you can get a better ballistic skill by a Cryptek. I like the amount of attacks you can get when a Cryptek's close by as well. 12 attacks is a solid amount at strength 5. And I've worked out most of my maths with the Primaris Marines when you're against them. You're not always going to be against them. You might be going against Guardsmen or Hormagaunts or Orc Boys. So those 12 attacks at -1 AP will go so much further against those armies. That goes for the pistol as well. They're pretty cheap, only 40 points for the pair. So any points left over, you can get these, although a squad of Scarabs is probably about the same amount. So things I don't like. Firstly, the reanimation protocols and the living metal ability won't do much, as there's only 2 models in the unit, and they've only got 2 wounds each. So the chances are the pair of them are both going to be wiped out at the same time. So the abilities almost become redundant. You might get lucky and use it once or twice, but if your opponent's clever enough, he's going to be removing them both. They've not got an invan, and a free-up save isn't going to keep them alive forever. They're virtually useless without a Cryptek, and personally I don't think they're needed when a 20-man warrior blob could just do the same kind of screening to your character. And you're going to be taking those warriors anyway, so why not have them around your Cryptek? And for the reanimation as well with a +1. Overall, they aren't a bad unit, but they rely heavily on another unit to operate, so effectively that's like a tax to them. They are quite underwhelming. I would have liked to see the squad being able to take more than 2 models, maybe sort of 5, but maybe when the Codex drops, we'll see that the squad size is different. But with a bigger squad, it will make the reanimation protocols much more efficient, especially with a +1 with the Cryptek. If the unit allowed more than 2 models in the squad, I would have rated it a little bit higher, but as it only has the 2 models, I'm going to give it a Planet 40k rating of 3 out of 5. So if you're enjoying the videos, please drop us a like. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell. If I've missed anything, drop it in the comments below. I'd always respond. I don't always get everything, so I'm always happy to listen and take on other people's opinions as well. So drop it down below, and I'll see you in the next video.